At 6:01 p.m., I'll call the meeting to order. Okay, I'll give it over to Lindsay for the roll call for this meeting. Nice to see everyone.
Commissioner Sue,
Here.
Commissioner Prakash,
Here.
Commissioner Lau, absent. Commissioner Kumar, Commissioner Halambi, absent. Commissioner Gao,
Here.
Commissioner Deshma,
Here.
Vice Chair Liu,
Here.
Chair Misra. All present with Commissioner Lau, Commissioner Halambi, Commissioner Lau, and Commissioner Halambi absent.
So we'll move on to ceremonial matters and presentations. Subject is Sports and Fitness Division presentation, and the recommended action is receive a presentation on the Sports and Fitness Division from Recreation Manager Alex Corballis.
Hey, Alex is gonna. There she
Hey
is.
everyone. You can all hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as was just mentioned, I am the recreation manager that oversees the sports and fitness division, so I'll be telling you more about that today. Whoops. Let me see here. I clicked the wrong share. So sorry. All right. Let's try that again. All right, so the sports and fitness division, to give you a overview of what we'll be talking about today, we oversee the adult softball leagues that the city offers, all the athletic fields and the permitting that goes along with that, youth and adult sports and fitness classes, and the Cupertino Sports Center. So, for softball, in spring of 2024, we were able to offer 3 nights of softball. So that was Monday, Tuesday, Friday night, and had a total of 18 teams. And fall was basically the same with 3 nights and 19 teams. In 2025, we moved over working with a contractor to run our adult softball leagues, and that began with the spring 2025 season. It's about a $14,000 increase in revenue over 2024 year to date, which is actually pretty comprehensive in this scenario. So in summer 2025, we had 6 teams and 70 people. The Monday, Wednesday combo league, we had 6 teams and 73 people, and Friday we had 5 teams and 74 people. I'm sorry, I think I skipped spring 2025. In spring 2025, Monday we had 4 teams and 38 people. Tuesday we had 9 teams and 136 people, and Friday we had 6 teams and 107 people. Then jumping to fall, we were able to add another night. So we had Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Friday. Monday we had 4 teams and 53 people. Tuesday we had 11 teams and 160 people. Wednesday we had 4 teams and 57 people, and Friday we had 5 teams and 54 people. So for athletic fields, it makes more sense to compare permit hours than it does to compare revenue for this one, because the amount paid can be very variable depending on the type of group. So for example, a nonprofit group serving children with disabilities actually doesn't pay a permit fee, whereas on the extreme end, if you have an adult for-profit sports group, they could be paying about $60 an hour. Now then, we are seeing permit hours roughly on par with last year. Change of number of hours one way or the another means a little bit less with fields than it could for other things because permit hours can be heavily affected by rain and field closures. The parks that we operate athletic fields at are Creekside, Jollyman, Hoover, Library Field, Monte Vista, and Wilson. And the schools that we operate fields at are Collins, Eaton, Faria, Garden Gate, Hyde, Kennedy, Lincoln, Regnar, and Stevens Creek. It's 16 user groups, 27 fields in total, and right now we have soccer, baseball, softball, cricket, and volleyball. So for youth and adult sports and fitness, we have seen an increase in participation in adult fitness classes. It's a 5.7% year-to-date increase. I would like to mention that when I do say year-to-date, these numbers were pulled at the end of November, early December. We offered 131 class sessions throughout the year and 11 different classes. You can read the list on the screen there. But tons of really fantastic options, balance core and more, hatha and restorative yoga, vinyasa yoga, strength and flow Pilates, yoga Pilates, Zumba, line dance is extremely popular, so that program's going well. For youth fitness and dance classes, we did see an increase in participation. We've gone up from about 1,100 participants in 2024 to about almost 1,400. And as far as camps, we have had a small decrease, so 11% year to date. We offered 425 classes and camps for youth so far this year, and 40 different camps and classes. They cover things like archery, ballet, basketball, gymnastics, hip hop, soccer, all kinds of more things, but we have the full list here. So you can see we have a pretty large gymnastics program, fair amount of dance, and then sports. We have archery, multi-sport, basketball, flag football, another multi-sport type class that's focused more on skills and conditioning, which is the RSVP camp, volleyball camp, lots of soccer, so wide variety of things for people to get involved in, youth specifically. So lifetime activities, classes, and camps those are all held at the Cupertino Sports Center. There were exactly 7,000 participants in 2024, and year-to-date 2025, it's a little over 6,100. They are just about dead on pace with last year. They offer tennis, badminton, table tennis, pickleball, basketball, chess, and private lessons for tennis for youth. And then for adults, they offer tennis, pickleball, private lessons for badminton, and tennis. All right. Now for the Sports Center, we currently have just shy of 1,900 active members, which is a 11.5% increase over 2024. As far as unique members, so that means like maybe they had a monthly pass over the summer and don't have an active membership right now, or we have a fair number of members that spend part of the year here and part of the year in another part of the US or another country. And so maybe they don't have a year-round membership. So unique people, we had 2,900 last year and just over 3,000 this year. Member check-ins, we had 117,562 in 2024, and year-to-date for 2025 is 111,464. And tennis participation is measured in number of reservations that are made throughout the year. So we are just about dead on pace with last year, with last year being just under 29,000 participants and current year-to-date number being, excuse me, not participants, just under 29,000 reservations. And in 2025, so far we have had 25,656 reservations. Right. So fitness classes at the Sports Center are included as part of your membership by and large, except for certain specialty classes, which I'll get to in a moment. In 2024, we had 24,100 participants. So far in 25, we've had 23,428 participants. Or through November, we had that number. We offer over 20 fitness classes per week and over 1,000 per year. That includes Bombay Jam, boot camp, cardio Pilates, full body strength and HIIT, strength and conditioning, TRX, yoga, Zumba, and more. We're always trying to add or tweak our class schedule to keep things fresh, so always new things going on. Just as an example, this is what the fitness schedule looked like for last month. So you can see we have a lot of options every day. And these are all included as part of the membership. So, and very exciting development is that we have just opened a newly renovated personal training studio. In 2024, we had 1,408 personal training sessions sold. This year, up through November, we had almost 1,900 personal training sessions sold, and that is over a 50% increase over prior year. We've seen a large growth since the pandemic. We were able to increase our roster up to 5 trainers. Having the studio does help alleviate crowding in the gym because with so many people signing up for personal training, obviously that would mean a lot of people taking up a lot of space in the gym. It's quieter and more comfortable for clients, and we are now also able to offer semi-private training, so which is 2 to 3 people. And we are actually seeing, I anecdotally have noticed that seems to be pretty popular with youth clientele. And so here's just some more information about our personal trainers. I know I said we increased our roster to 5. We did, and now 1 has moved out of the area, so we're back down to 4, hoping to get it back up to 5, just so that we can keep responding to all the inquiries we're getting for personal training. But lots of fantastic trainers on staff. So now, those specialty classes I mentioned earlier, we started those in fall of 2025. They're groups of 4 to 10 people, whereas the ones that are part of the membership that are held in the large multi-purpose room gym can get up to about 50 people. These are more focused classes, more specialized, and we are offering barbell boot camp, bodybuilding 101, strength and agility, brain body boost, burn and sculpt slim down athletic performance training, running clinic, and morning metabolizers. That's what the flyer looks like for that. Lots of information. I believe you all got the agenda packet, so if you're interested in any of them, you can just scan the QR code. And with that, do you have any questions for me?
Two questions from the commission. And also, just as a very quick reminder, the team commission is an advisory body, so it's helpful if we're able to offer our team perspective through questions and comments. So feel free to ask and add on to anything that our great manager presented on today. So we're going for questions now. Is there anything?
Yeah, I did have a question. Thank you very much for your presentation. Do you plan on having any like new additions or have any certain plan in for the new year 2026 to maintain this upward trajectory? Especially I believe in the dance and in the youth dance and fitness camps, I noticed that there was like a decrease in the participation. So I was wondering if you had any plan for like the new year to make sure you maintain this upward trajectory that you had with your other programs.
We're always looking to try to make sure that our offerings are fresh and keeping an eye out for new things that we could be offering. We're currently working with some potential contractors to try to bring on some things that are pretty new and not widely offered in the South Bay in general. So that always helps. The only thing we had a decrease in was in camps, and there's a contractor that we no longer work with that accounts for some of that drop. It actually could have dropped a lot more and didn't. So that still looks like a pretty good number with that context. But yeah, just trying to keep offering things that interest people.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, so like in your presentation, I may be wrong about this, but I heard you say that you got 40,000 in revenue after switching to a contractor for softball. Is that correct?
14,
Four.
1-4.
Okay. Have you looked to using a contractor for other sports such as basketball or like flag football?
Most of our programs are contracted. Softball is its own special its own special thing. It's a very interesting niche program. Um, and it's traditionally run directly through a city. If you look at surrounding cities, it's very common that it's directly run by the city. Um, However, there's a lot of things that make it really difficult to run in-house when you only have one field. And we only have one field, only one lit field. Whereas when you're looking at somewhere like San Jose that has the Acadia ballpark, they have lots of fields that scale makes it easier for them to run in-house. But it made sense for us to go with a contractor. But when you're looking at things like our classes and camps in the sports arena, they're all contractors.
Yeah, I mean, looking at like the numbers for the Cupertino Sports Center in terms of like the kind of memberships that we're looking at. And I noticed like a large number of like what was listed as unique members.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely sure of like wasn't like, quite sure on what you meant by unique members, but I'm guessing a lot of that has to do with the fact that either they don't show up or they like canceled their program at some point throughout the year. So it's like that was quite a big number compared to like the number of active
Mhm.
membership.
Yeah, so active members is a snapshot in time. So when that report was run, I don't have the number in front of me anymore. It was 1,800 something, I think, members. And that's just a snapshot of when that report was run. But if you look at the entire year as a whole, those unique members, you might have somebody that was holding an active membership in January, February, March, and maybe that's somebody that spends summers, with family in another state or whatever it is. Or we will have students that'll come home for the summer, right? And get a membership at the sports center. Or they have a New Year's resolution and maybe it doesn't pan out for them, so they were a member in January and then they didn't continue to be a member or whatever it may be. We have people that only live part of the year in this area, and so they're only a member for part of the year. So that's how you get that big difference between unique members and active memberships.
I had some questions. I was wondering, for the sports center, the membership numbers looked really great. So what does the sports center include, like in terms of services and everything? Like I know we talked about like classes and like tennis courts, I think. Is that all, or is there like anything else as well?
Yes. So we have at the sports center 17 lighted tennis courts, a ball machine. We have pickleball courts. We have our big multi-purpose room gym, which is where we hold all the free to members fitness classes, which is another amenity. And as you saw on that list, we're offering like at least 20 classes a week that you can just drop into, no need to pre-register. You can just show up for Zumba or strength training or whatever you want that day. So those are all amenities. The gym itself obviously is an amenity, access to personal training. Those are all the big things. And then as well, we have the programs run by Lifetime, though you're not required to be a member to take a class with Lifetime.
Okay, sounds good. And for this membership, is there any age limit or can anyone register?
Yeah. Yeah. For example, anyone on the teen commission is absolutely eligible to register. Yes, there's no lower age limit. We do have restrictions on what certain age ranges are allowed to participate in without a parent present.
That sounds great. Yeah, that's all my questions. If there are no more questions.
I have a question. I'd like to ask about your teen summer memberships. Do you guys have like free programs for teens? Because I know that YMCA also does like free summer. Do you guys
No,
also have?
we do not have free memberships. We do have student memberships, which are very much reduced in price, and showing a high school schedule would suffice to get that membership.
It's like there's no more questions. Um, is there any public comment?
We have no speakers in person and no hands raised on Zoom. Sure.
Okay, great. Are there any comments from the commission? Okay, I just had a quick comment. I heard you saying to Commissioner Prakash that you're always like looking to like continue expanding into classes and things like that. So if you were by any chance, thinking about like getting feedback for any teen or youth focused programs, we would love to hear from you and maybe have the commission provide some comments if that would be helpful.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Can I just add clarification? This is a great opportunity if you have comments or suggestions. This is the time. We have the manager here and this is UR advisory. So that's part of why she presented the program. And then if you want to give the team perspective, this is a great opportunity rather than a future date. We have her here. If you have any comments, now's the time to give them.
I'll just add that I know a lot of people from my school, they saw in the weekly newsletter from our like principal that there are free memberships at YMCA. So if you wanted to advertise through there, that'd be a great option to get membership on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I personally was not aware that there were like student discounts on memberships. So I think getting that out would be great because I know at least in high school, especially amongst juniors and seniors, everyone's trying to get like a gym membership, and it's cool that the Cupertino city has one. So maybe like as you said, some high school focused outreach could be really successful for those programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no more comments. I think that's it for this agenda item. Thank you so much for presenting today.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Okay, we can move on to the next item. That's approval of minutes. Subject is approval of minutes, November 12th, 2025. Recommended action is review and approve the minutes from the commission meeting on November 12th, 2025. One should have the draft. Okay, if everyone's finished reading, I will call for a motion to approve these minutes.
Approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I'll hand it over to Lindsay for the vote.
Commissioner Sue,
Yes.
Commissioner Prakash,
Yes.
Commissioner Lau,
Yes.
Commissioner Kumar,
Yes.
Commissioner Halambi,
Yes.
Commissioner Gao,
Yes.
Commissioner Deschma,
Yes.
Vice Chair Liu,
Yes.
Chair Misra.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously.
Great. So moving on to postponements, we have none. Moving on to oral communications. Lindsay, are there any?
No speakers, and we don't embrace them.
Okay, thank you. Written communications, are there any written communications? Okay, no,
Sorry, we have no written communications.
okay. And old business, there is none. New business, we do have some. So our next item is subject youth-led organization highlight program. And recommended action is to discuss and provide feedback on current youth-led organization highlight program. And this is something that we were talking about last meeting, so I'll hand it over to Sonia for a report.
So sorry, it's good here.
Take your time.
There we go. Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you. I am taking the feedback from a meeting or two ago where we had a discussion about a YLO's highlight. And there were some comments about maybe we could skew how we evaluate or just look at how we evaluate. And so I'm kind of putting this back in front of the group because this particular commission was not the same commission when we started the program. So we're putting it back in front of you to get some feedback on it. Okay, so we're going to review the WILO highlight program, review the evaluation criteria, and have some feedback and discussion on the process. So this program has been set up to offer a pathway for organizations to get the word out about what they do, not only through the presentation, which is live streamed for anybody that might be interested in us watching, but through the actual highlight, which is a post on our social media. And then team commissioners should always be assisting, and this will be our next agenda item as well, but assisting and promoting those resources that are available to teams in the community. Okay, we have a flyer. It's probably time that I get the flyer kind of back out there. But it is also online that anybody can go to the team commission page and they can apply straight from there. But it's time for us to kind of get it back out there. We sort of had a steady stream for a while, where we were getting like one a meeting, and that's pretty good to have like one presentation and an evaluation per meeting. But I'd love to hear from more. And so I have a flyer, we have the eligibility requirements, and we kind of have a process set up. Eligibility, when we first started out, we talked about that it can't just be like any nonprofit organization in the community. Like there are several that say apply for community funding, and they are serving teens sometimes, but they're not run by youth. And so YLO youth-led organization. We want it run by teens. They should serve primarily Cupertino residents in the community, but we've certainly allowed for some consideration of people that are serving broader areas. And they should be active for at least 6 months. Just to speak to that, we wanted to make sure that we didn't have a lot of applications from somebody, and I know that being in high school and middle school in this area, you've all seen that people will get an idea and try to start up a club, And we didn't want anybody that's like in the early stages of their club. We wanted kind of proven youth-led organizations to come and present to us. And then they must come and present to you. So if they want that highlight from you, they must come in front of you and present and be here in person to answer questions. Some of our evaluation criteria is what kind of community impact does the organization have? What kind of presence in the community and what kind of engagement they have with the community. A big one is the establishment and plans for longevity. If it's an organization, for instance, where just one person has started it and they're doing a couple of programs and there's no plans for after they graduate from high school, then that's something that we want to look at is if they our criteria. And then also the originality. That's also a big one because we'll kind of start to see, I know Mr. Kaufman and I both see that a lot from just people making contact with us and wanting to partner with the city, but it's things that we're already doing or things that there's not necessarily a need because it's not that original or it's being offered in several other organizations. So the general process to get that highlight is they submit an application through forms. And again, that's on the team commission page. Then the staff liaison, me, I contact them and schedule a time for them to come to present to you at the commission meeting. And then I have the following meeting, but we've had several that have happened in the same night. And that actually seems to have worked better. Originally, we thought we would have them present once and then the next time they would, we would make an evaluation, but it has been working better to have all of that happen in the same evening. So you evaluate the application and approve or disapprove for highlight on social media. So your process is that you receive the presentations. Everybody's been very good about knowing what the criteria is beforehand, knowing the kinds of questions that we want answered, and asking those questions when they give their presentation to make sure that they meet the criteria. To evaluate the applications, and when we do the evaluation, I usually just take all the information from the application and that's presented to you in a presentation, and then to approve or disapprove the application. Okay, and then the presentation night is your chance to gather the information, which is why it has been working better to do the full process in the same night, because it's on your mind. We did figure out in the first couple times that we had planned on doing the evaluation in the following meeting, we would sort of forget in between what their answers were. But when you have the presentation, you ask your questions, and then just a few minutes later, our evaluation, that seemed to work out better. Okay, so that's our overall process. What I wanted to do is to, one, readdress, we had started to get into some kind of conversation about possibly in our YLO process, we could change. And I sort of stopped that discussion and said we would put it on the agenda for a future item. So this is sort of your chance to come back and give some more feedback on the whole process. I would like to know from you what you can do as commissioners to kind of get the word out about the YLO program and get more organizations coming in presenting to you and just kind of getting the word out about their resources for teens in the community. So I will turn it back over to the chair and you can maybe run a discussion.
Sure. Thank you, Sonia, for that great presentation. I think we all needed a refresh of exactly what the criteria are. So that was super helpful. If you want to see what the sort of ideas we brought up last meeting, I think they're on page 3 of the drafts of the minutes we just reviewed. That might help us get started, kind of pick up where we left off. let's all try to give our opinions on what we think this program, because I think all of us have like a very distinct viewpoint. Like, for example, I'm from Cupertino High School, but maybe there's like some sort of Monte Vista culture that I'm completely unbeknownst to. So, I can start with something that I had in mind. I think one thing we should do to the YLO program is increase the amount of recognition that the clubs are getting, because that will make it more I guess it would make it more beneficial to the club or the organization to have something beyond like an Instagram post. As we heard from Tino Echo last meeting, if you guys remember, I think we were also discussing about how, given the fact that their membership seems to be sort of dwindling, maybe the YLO highlight didn't do as much as we had hoped or expected in really highlighting these organizations to the community. And for that reason, I was kind of thinking about expanding this recognition package. So are there any more ideas? Please just feel free to add.
I'm just gonna go over the list we came up with last time in order. I think one of the big things about to making WILE more successful as a program is selectivity in a very competitive environment such as Cupertino. I think selectivity is especially what nonprofits organizations in general go for to get something that's a more selective endorsement or recognition from the city. I think would be more valuable than just a social media post. On that note, on selectivity, I think two ways to increase that. So first is to open it up to, I guess, more. I was thinking not just nonprofit organizations, but for instance, school clubs. If a school club does exceptional community service, I think they should have just as much of a chance for recognition as any organization. And then I think also another other part of selectivity would then be to limit the amount of recognition we give out. For instance, one per month. On that note, if school clubs are allowed in that in the YLO program, then I think that's a very clean path to increasing knowledge about YLO, which would be to work through schools ASBs, which usually run the clubs. They would get work very quickly, and I think of course then if we can directly tie it to if we allow clubs, that means we can also access schools principal and have them message email the clubs. And on that note, then increasing incentives. I think what you're talking about was an excellent point. Just increasing, just not just social media posts. I think last time we brought up a couple ideas like certificates, endorsements from like for example, giving them a social media post is good, but I'm not actually sure how many students especially follow the city social media posts. So I'm thinking of, so perhaps if we gave them instead a certificate or an endorsement, I'm reasonably sure they would happily plaster it all over their own advertising platforms, endorsed by the city of Cupertino or Juan Wildlow or something like that. Or perhaps we have some sort of in-person certificate presentation they can get a photo op too. The point is just to increase the benefits, increase the pool of applicants, and limit the amount we can limit the amount of highlights we give out. So in general, to increase selectivity, in that increased selectivity makes it more attractive to potential applicants.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point about like I especially like Charlie's idea about using like school-based things and like reaching out and collaborating with ASB to see if clubs are interested. I do have one clarifying question. Like when you mean YLO, are you specifically looking at like actually like signed nonprofits, or could it be any sort of like youth-led like program?
Yeah, that's a really great question because I wanted to clarify, it's open to school organizations right now. It's any youth-led organization. So if there's give me a school club at your school, it's probably open to them. So if they're serving, especially if it's a club in a Cupertino high school, they're serving most likely a good portion of Cupertino teens. So it's open right now.
Yeah, then I think it's really important that like we take advantage of that, because I know like lots of clubs, especially in Monte Vista, there's like a really like sort of competitive club culture, or like there's a lot of like really large organizations which are doing like really big things at our schools. So I think One thing that like our school and our district has is like newsletters, so maybe if we could publicize it saying that, oh, like, Cupertino Teen Commission is handing out like youth-led organizations. Highlights this applies to any club, so like clubs can apply for it for like recognition. And then, having some sort of certificate, I think would also be good, sort of like as an award for, um, the youth-led organizations to put as like some sort of achievement. So yeah.
Adding on to what Sumeda and Harley said, like, I think basing it off of a school club is like a good idea. Cause like, if you start a club in like school, like, I think it's kind of hard to go somewhere from there, but like, say if you apply for like a highlight from the teen commission, right? Then like, people would know more about your club and then like you can start doing other stuff.
I guess one of the things is that we're talking a lot about clubs, and obviously I do hope to support the idea that we bring it more towards places that students are most of the time, schools and their clubs. But again, I'm not really sure how many of these clubs are actually going out of their way to help the city of Cupertino as much as they are their own members. Like for example, let's take the example of speech club. Obviously, it isn't like the perfect suitor for this, but it's quite hard for me to imagine a speech club meeting a lot of these criteria.
I feel like there's a lot of like this may I understand that it may not apply to like certain clubs, like speech, it's more of like a school within like competition based thing. But for example, my school is FBLA chapter. We do a lot of projects and like community service partnerships with business or like state projects out in the community. And there's also other clubs like, you know, Red Cross and other like and Octagon, other like volunteering organizations that could apply, but yeah, I definitely understand your point, how clubs, it's only like a select number, it's not really too big of a pool that we could apply, but.
I mean, even if their club isn't really based on like helping Cupertino in that sense that we're going for, we still have this screening process to make sure, so I think it's okay.
I think like a huge part of the youth-led organization highlights is that we're trying to showcase the things youth in our community are doing to make a difference in it. So if clubs are like making a difference to the members, then they should like be eligible for this highlight. But for them, like, I don't know how useful just a highlight would be, because they probably have already highlighted their club to the school. And since other members who are not like from their school can't really join like the club, I feel like it'd be more like helpful for them if we had like an award so that they could say that their club earned an award from the city of Cupertino.
I think that's kind of similar to like the letter of commendation from like the mayor that like people get like at school for like FBLA projects, they would get those from mayors. So maybe we can have something adjacent to that for the team.
That's great to know. I wasn't aware that FBLA projects did get that. I think that would give us a good thing to sort of go off of. Commissioners Gal and Sue, did you have anything else to add on?
I feel like you should know like what the extent of like what we can do is for like are we able to like request stuff from like the mayor like this, or like is it possible to have like these types of like awards given out to like, for example, just for like YLO, like I feel like we can, you know, like to like what place, like what can we give out to these institutions?
Yeah, do you want me to answer the question? That's a really great question, and I would say that ebbs and flows with our current council and our current mayor, which that changes usually annually. So you know, that's a possibility, but it does make it a little bit more tricky to tie that to something there. But as far as like a certificate that, you know, that would be something that would be easy to implement, because we could make it a team commission certificate of commendation. So yeah, if you think of things that we can kind of control, then we can make those things happen easier.
I was also thinking, like a certificate. The main goal of this is to help like broadcast the organizations to more people and a wider audience, right? So I was thinking, even if we like issued a certificate or something, we still have the issue of like how to spread the word of this because again, I'm not sure how effective like the social media accounts are and other ways to, so like I'm not sure if there's any other way to help like spread the word about these organizations.
I'm not sure, but was there like a weekly or something, like a mayor's email? I'm not sure because I remember receiving like a mayor's email sometimes. And would it be possible for like, maybe like as a footnote on those emails to have like maybe like the organization that we're highlighting just said for one of them? Or is that like something that's hard to control?
It's definitely something I could look at, and it's just the same answer. It just sort of depends. But I'm, I have some other ideas that I'll look at and get back to you guys. Some city stuff. I don't want to say them just in case I can't make it happen.
I think commissioners, you brought up a great question. I think all of us, from what I'm gathering, kind of agree on the fact that maybe we need to just expand or just more for whoever wins these highlights. But yeah, we should definitely look at what we can expand it to. We can talk more about exactly what we like have in mind, like maybe like certificates, as we said, or like letters of commendation, as you brought up. I just want to quickly address Commissioner Deshmukh's point, which was a great point. I thought what you were sort of getting at is like many, maybe most school clubs maybe won't be like eligible to apply because, as you said, they're serving like their own members or focusing on competitions and things like that. But I think what I think you brought up was that just sort of looking at the clubs, school clubs that are eligible and going through ASB, which is a pretty established and official kind of body to get the word out among schools would be a good idea because I think I haven't seen any like purely school-based clubs apply, I think, for a while of highlight. So maybe we're just like missing a whole like pool of applicants that could be applying. Probably because I they have like this preconceived notion that maybe only like 501(c)(3) nonprofits or like really big external organizations are like eligible. So it would be great to get the word out through ASB just for the clubs that are able to apply. Even though that might not be like a huge extension of the applicant pool, we'll still be catching more people than we are now. So we should definitely look into that. I think maybe we can talk a little bit about nailing down what we do want to do in terms of like expanding the recognition. As Sonia mentioned, there is we'll be looking into what we can do with the city and stuff, but are there any specific ideas or just like kinds of things we want to check about? Anything in mind?
People usually like to go on Instagram, like when we do the post on social media. Like people look less at posts, but more at videos. So if we have each organization just make a video about like what they're doing and how it's affecting teens in our city, that would be better. And we can also have PR review like those videos, just in the case. I think that would be a lot more helpful in terms of publicity.
It's a great idea.
Also unsure in terms of publicity, I'm not sure if there's any precedent for something like just it's may not even necessarily a certificate, just the ability to say that they're officially endorsed by the city. I think in terms of clubs, when clubs organization in general, they themselves can take that and run wherever they want with it. So I think just giving them the ability to say that could potentially be a draw.
I think maybe like a like an official like certificate or something, like in the form of application.
I totally agree with all of those. I think reels do pull way more engagement on Instagram, especially. And I think like physical certificate, especially if it's signed by the mayor, would be kind of a big deal. And if like say a school club gets it and they choose to hang it up in like their advisor's room and everyone comes and sees that and they're like, wow, that's cool. I think that would help establish like the prestigiousness and like the incentive to apply for this because as we were saying earlier, it would sort of make it look like more, if not selective, at least more like heavy. So I think like something signed by the mayor, like a certificate, especially if it's like framed and can kind of be hung up, would be really cool. Help a lot. Any other ideas?
From the other selectivity point you brought up earlier, I was wondering if we might limit the amount of vials we hand out, because if we have a free reign to hand out if we have a free reign to just hand out vials to everyone, this commission has a habit of voting yes to everything. So I feel like that would actually probably undermine the prestige we're trying to establish around vials. I was wondering if we might establish a limit, perhaps like one a month or something like that.
I mean, I guess if we want this shout out to have like some sort of prestige in terms of not only is it just helping them increase their engagement, it's also like a symbol of we are so and so club and we've been marked by the shadow. Like I feel like when you consider that it's like once a month, that's like even 10 clubs a year. In a town like ours, that's still like a significant number of them. Yeah. And considering the fact that a lot of them have like maybe multiple people calling the shots at their nonprofit or club, it would probably be in our best interest to like lower the amount that we hand out in terms of like the biggest shout out we have. Like maybe even like a tiering model where once a month we give out this, twice a year we give this out, and once a year we give like something great.
I feel like that's a good idea, but also like I feel like we need to choose whether or not like we want prestige or just to help like organizations in the community. Because I feel like even with reels, like the amount of like publicity we're gonna give them is going to be still limited. And like I feel like saying yes to many organizations isn't necessarily like a bad thing because we're like there's so many different organizations that do some stupid things and like helping them a little is like also like beneficial for our community as well.
Could there be a,
Oh,
sorry,
sorry, you forgot.
okay, could there be a way that like they can choose whether they want like to apply for the prestige? Like, or like just the, like, like, if they want the prestige or if they just wanna be like posted so that they can get the like recognition and like the members. Maybe you could have like a separate subdivision where one, you'd actually be considered for the award, and that would be for the like more prominent and bigger organizations, and then there'd be like a second one where if you aren't like that established yet, you could just get recognition.
Yeah, I mean just adding on to what Commissioner Sue said, like you still have to make a decision on how we want the award to be viewed, especially considering that some of us believe it should be more prestigious, some of us believe that it's about shouting out as many local residents as we can. And I feel like I mean the tier system it does I feel like I don't want to keep on bringing it up over and over again, but like we should have, I believe, separate forms, like let's say even just two different opportunities where we have like one pre-established wildlife shadow on Instagram like we already do. It doesn't necessarily even have to be more prestigious award. It could just be like we could have a separate award for like startups that are under 6 months. Just like give them, hey, these guys are new, them as well.
Maybe like categories, like best new group, best serving largest population or something, like kind of adding some categories. Okay.
I have a quick question. So don't we have like this wild highlight once?
So that's a really great question, because that was one thing that I was gonna point out is that we only have it as often as somebody applies. And so, and some of those applications have been, I've heard of a group through some other means, and I said, do you want to apply? You could apply here, or they hear it through word of mouth through the commission. Most of them have come in that way, but in the big picture, we haven't steadily had once a month. And when you talk about being a lot more selective, I feel like you would want to first be in a situation where you have more than you can really highlight once a month. And so, you know, I get what you're saying about building that selectiveness in, but also part of it is this is a process for us to just try to get the word out about clubs. So it's hard to build in the selectiveness if you don't have like an overabundance of YLOs applying for the highlight. So we could get there and then you can like then start implementing that you're a little more selective. But I think we would want to more see like how can we get more people applying? And I kind of put that back on the team commission. How can you individually as team commissioners go back to your schools and like promote the program and be like, hey, you know, this is a cool club at my school. You guys, you know, you guys should come and present. You could have a highlight, you know, it'd be cool. We could help to get the word out about your club.
I think we have really good ideas for how we want to develop the highlight program, but I think we should figure out how to advertise it, because
Yeah.
I mean, are we can put them into the school newsletters, I'm sure, if we like send an email to the ASB like slash advisor. But like, are there any other ways that we can approach this?
I think, was that the next item that we have? Advertising?
Actually, we will continue that conversation. So, but that is a really great point specific to this is how can you as commissioners help to promote this commission program? And so I will say it will weigh a lot more with the school. If they get a packet from us of like, here's some great opportunities for the teams at your, say, high school, as opposed to you go and you know your ASB and you say, hey, there's this great program. How could we get this into our newsletter? That's going to be far more effective than us as city staff trying to reach out to the schools individually. So we really count on you to get out there and be our employees in the high schools.
Yeah, I think we were talking about we were really discussing like the selectivity, ramping it up as well. And Sonia had some good points to offer to that. In my personal experience, what I've seen is that when we, at least in this area, advertise an opportunity, an award or honor or something like that as more selective, more people tend to apply because that is in and of itself an incentive to put something selective on their college app. More people want to do that. So if we start by adding more weight to the benefits, and then say that, oh, well, here's this program and then here's this selective program. I feel like we would end up seeing like an uptick in the people who apply. But a good point to consider is that we don't want to say or imply that this is something super selective and then end up giving it to everyone that applies because we just didn't have enough applicants. So if we're gonna ramp up selectivity, let's be like a little mindful on how selective we say it is, because it's not gonna be like a 1%, 10%, even like 30% as acceptance rate, especially in the beginning. But we can definitely work on limiting it, as you brought up, to maybe one a month or something more, maybe something less. What I was thinking, this is just a random idea I'm throwing out there based on Commissioner Halambi and Commissioner Deshmukh's idea. What if we sort of change the highlight program we have to instead be like a recognition program, and then it has two tiers, like a highlight, which is like a more general lower level thing that people can apply for. And then we have like an outstanding impact award or something that we only give out like 2 or 3 of per year, but only people who won the highlights are eligible to apply for. So maybe like as we brought up the idea of like different sort of categories, you know how like the Golden Globes have like very different like best soundtrack, best new nonprofit, etc. Maybe we can branch out into that once we sort of pilot a more general but still selective program to see like larger applicant pools, and then we can like be sure that okay, we are going to have enough applicants per category. to actually hand out selective awards and that. That's just an idea. You guys don't, by the way, you don't have to raise your hand or anything to talk, just so you know, like, please just jump in.
I like the idea of having separate like awards and like categories because I think then specific and makes people want to do it more. They actually notice about instead of just like a like regular highlight. It's like an actual thing specific.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, just a quick question. You mean like the like different types of things, like best environmental program, best like that, or like the tier sort of thing?
I think if we had a lot of those categories like best environmental and like best like technology one, I don't think that we would get enough applicants to make it as like specific for each one. But I think I like the idea of like outstanding impact and things like that more.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with Chelsea about like how we sort of just like first increase like our pool size in general before like we make such categories. And then I also feel like I know you were mentioning like having such award things like 2 or 3 times a year, but maybe it could just be like, similar to Crest Awards, how it's just like one, ceremony or like one time where it's given. I think it could probably just be like one sole event for like, oh, youth led like City of Cupertino, like youth led organization, like awards ceremony, whatever. And it could be like a once a year thing. We give out like all the different like categories as you were saying.
It's a great idea, especially if we do something like the highlight thing where everyone who wins a highlight is eligible to apply, because I feel like that would also up the incentive to apply for highlights as well.
Actually, when she mentioned the Crest Awards, I was wondering, would it be possible, for instance, once a year or like whenever Crest Awards are held, just before that, we choose out of all the highlights from the previous year, we choose like one of the best, and then we can present it in person at the Crest Award. I'm not sure if doable, but I think that would greatly be
Oh,
improve
like,
the student.
I like that idea. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we can just incorporate something like best organization, but only people who apply through the teen commission are eligible to be considered for that one. That's a great idea, because that actually we would have to do less to like establish something completely new.
And I guess like one of the things, as we're actually doing such an award ceremony, it's also a marketing opportunity for us because we're basically putting our name out there like, hey, we exist. This is the award we're giving out.
We're the ones choosing we're the ones choosing out who gets these awards, so improve the influence of teen commission too.
A good point.
Especially in my school, I don't think many people know what teen commission compared to others, so it's a good idea to increase the popularity.
Yeah, I totally agree. Same thing at my school is what I've observed as well. I think that's a great idea to introduce that category to the Crest Awards, because I know Crest award categories do change with time. And if we recommend this, it's very likely, I think, or actually I don't know how likely it is, but it's a great idea according to me. So they will probably consider it.
That could be where we give the letter of commendation or like the
Yeah.
certificate, because you know how like they hand those out.
Yeah. And all the Crest Awards and the ceremonies are also recorded and like very nicely presented on like the city TVs. Maybe if you've been in like the community hall or something like that, they're always like playing like snapshots of it on the TVs, which I think is very cool. And I think especially in this area, people would love to have that sort of exposure or just recognition. One thing though is I was on the like panel for selecting Crest Awards this year, and I noticed that it's all the chairs from each commission, and we are the only commission with teens on them. So there was a total of one person under 18 on that thing. And if it's like a teen focused thing that the teen commissioners are so heavily involved in, maybe we should also have a plan for how we're planning to if we're going to incorporate these into like the Crest Award thing. How are we putting our unique perspective on this? Because I think it is super important, especially for a very teen focused award.
I'm gonna jump in because we're getting really, really specific on something that's a maybe, because keeping in mind all the commissions did vote on the Crest Awards. And so if we come at them, not to be naysayer, but we can always ask. And
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. But also just keep in mind that all the commissions would be like, hey, we want to do that. And
Right,
so
right.
we just have to, not get too specific. We can definitely look into it and then let's keep that a little bit broad.
Okay.
But I think that's been a lot of feedback, and just for the sake of keeping us on like some kind of time frame, can we maybe go on to public comment? Last comments?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Let's go on to public comment.
No speakers in person and no hands raised on Zoom share.
Thank you. Are there any comments? Okay,
Thank you very much. That was a really great. There's a lot of great suggestions in there and a lot of great feedback, which is exactly what we were looking for. Yeah. Okay, before we go on to the next item, I did promise that I'd give a time check for rides. And I think we're probably 15 to 20 out. How long do you think your staff report is? So we're about 15 to 20.
Everybody's rushing. Everybody's rushing.
Yeah, we're gonna get, yeah.
I do have a question, like, are we allowed to just like email like the ASB advisor, just tell them about the program and like give them a blurb? Okay.
Definitely.
'Cause I was like thinking about like all the stuff that we learned like that one meeting where they present like the brown and like the chain of meetings.
You're not just allowed to, we encourage it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next.
We're literally asking. Yes.
Everybody,
Like an action item for like us to do, like email or like ASB and stuff.
yeah, in fact, let's get into the agenda items just so we stay kind of on track with the agenda. And you can move on without Harley, so I think everybody's texted, so,
yeah, looks like it. Okay,
right?
okay, so we'll move on to the next agenda item. Subject is commission role in promoting programs. Recommended action is discuss how team commissioners can promote teen programs in the community.
Okay, so this is kind of almost like a second part. I don't have a presentation, a formal presentation, but it's something that Robert Kaufman and I have talked about a lot, of just how can it be more for you rather than showing up once a month where you're like, okay, we've got a meeting coming up. Hey, I've got that in my calendar. I'm gonna show up, come to the meeting, and the teen commission is kind of set aside again until the next month. As part of being on the teen commission, you went through a pretty rigorous process with our council and interviews. And there's a lot of people interested in being on the commission. So our council members chose each of you because they saw that you were going to be our connection to the teens in the community. And they tried to pick a broad spectrum of people that were going to really reach out to all the teens. But that, not only do we kind of stick with teen commission is advisory, that's one aspect. Teen commission shows up at our events that are run by our youth activity board, but they show up as like speakers, moderators, kind of those higher level judges. That's another aspect. But that third aspect is that we look to the teen commission not only to advise us on staff programs, but to help us to promote and to reach out to the teen community. That's another huge part of your role as teen commissioners. So we just kind of want to have a discussion. Am I hitting all the points that we sort of talked about? Did you have anything to add?
No, I think that's about.
Okay, so we just wanted to have a discussion and kind of put it out to you as to how do you see that you can reach out in your schools, in your community clubs that you may be involved with, in any way that you have a connection to other teens in the community. That's not just you, beyond you, reaching out, networking. So Commissioner Lau gave a great suggestion in between agenda items is like, can we reach out to our ASB director and like, can we email them and let them know about the YLO program? Can we do that? Yes, we would love for you to do that. So I guess I'm challenging each of you to think of something in your school, in your life that you can do and to kind of put that out to the group of like, I could reach out to the ASB director. What are some other ideas that each of you has as to how you can reach out to the teen community as a teen commissioner, really representing and promoting our programs?
Something small, but I know YAB does this, like they post like between 4 events to promote it. They like on their stories on Instagram, they do like silly trends. So that like catches the attention of like a lot of students when they see like trends, and then it's just kind of like a promotional video, but it's like in a fun way. And so I feel like with like posting a lot on Instagram stories, that helps a lot because a lot of I feel like a lot of students do school on Instagram, so catches like their attention if they see like a little trend.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually the exact same thing. I've seen like I know a lot of people, all of my friends at school are part of YAB, and like I see like sometimes on their story they see like, oh, like pizza and politics, or like this other event is coming up. So like personally, like as a teen, I've been like actually informed about these events coming up. So using like more social media, like we each, like I'm sure that most of us have like some sort of social media. So like maybe just even a small story promoting the, like just making a story, like just an Instagram story. Youth led organization, this stuff. So yeah.
I have a friend who's in the Sunnyvale Teen Advisory Committee. I know like over there they do a lot of like videos, and that helps like bring their attendance. But another thing they do is they have flyers and they like post it up around our school. And I've done that for I think like the teen speaker series. I don't know how effective it was. But I think that's definitely a possibility. Like if we can get flyers for the different things in our city and post them up on their bulletin boards, people like definitely will look at that. And in ASB, we also make a lot of posters for like events in school. I think like those also really help because like, they help keep people who do not have like Instagram or things like that informed. Also for ASB, we do a lot of like the announcements and in our like full video announcements where everyone's like required to watch them. So if we can put up like the YLO highlight program on that and like through the announcements, I think it'll help reach out to a lot more people as well.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. So like, in our school, what ASB and leadership make videos to advertise different things. And so like surprisingly in our school, a lot of students watch these videos. So I would think like you know, putting the YLO or like, you know, like one of these things inside one of our videos would be a good way to advertise it.
I mean, I guess the problem with like a lot of these school-led spirit accounts is that the posting isn't consistent. Like you have a video from 5 days ago that's got pretty good attention, then the next video is from 2 years ago, and it's like I have never seen these people before. But the problem is again that you can't really rely on a school's fan spirit page because there's one graduating class that's really attached to it, and then it takes a couple of years before people start picking up on it again. Like, oh, we should probably do this. I guess that's probably part of the problem, using school as a method for advertising our services.
This is more something else I was thinking about in the comments about posting more. A lot of what was mentioned about posting on social media was about the WildO program, highlighting the WildOs that we highlighted. But I'm just thinking, what other things could we post about? Yeah, for instance, is very clear they run the events. Of course, one we could go about is we just repost their stuff, but I highly doubt that would attract attention to Teen Commission itself. So I suppose the question of course is what would we post about?
Yeah, that's a good thing to think about because, of course, it would be great if, people while doom scrolling did come across reels hyping up the teen commission. But I think, for example, Yab is very well suited to that kind of marketing and it works really well. But I think teen commission being a more advisory body, I mean, what would we hype them up for, like the next February meeting? Like that, I'm super hyped about it. Okay, I don't know if Reeves would work on that unless there's like a potluck or something. So
Can we interject on that?
Yeah, I just, tell me if I'm off base here, Sonia, but I think we're getting, I think advertising teen commission is not the actual purpose here. You're not supposed to be, you're not here to serve yourself as a body. Okay, the goal is to represent teams to, the wider community, right? But what represent programs, it's a two-way street is what we're trying to say. You're here to kind of represent teens as a voice to us in terms of feedback, advice, but you're also supposed to be promoting city programs to the population that you're representing as well, right? It's kind of like you're the portal into that world for us. So the goal is not to advertise in commission to your peers. I'm pretty sure a lot of your peers know about Teen Commission. There's a lot of applications that come into Teen Commission. As teen commissioners, you are very specially picked by city council to do what you do. And so I guess I'm kind of like circulating.
Well, so I think what we're saying, the city offers many team programs and those are all part of the city offerings. And so we're looking to you as a teen commission to promote all of our team programs. And some of those guests are youth activity board is the one that plans and does the activities. They're just one facet of the overall team program. Teen commission is a body, youth activity board is a body, recreation event volunteers is a body, leaders in training is a body, but that as all as one is the programs that we offer through the city of Cupertino. And so we would like you to be part of the getting the word out about everything that is offered through the city. Does that make sense more that it's not just about, yes, the youth-led organizations process. We talked really specifically about that we would like to find a way to like promote that. That is very teen commission specific. But this is more about how can you as commissioners reach out to the community about all of the program offerings that we have. So it'd be whatever's coming up next.
And it's not just like team events.
Yeah.
Like the reason why we tell you about all of our upcoming events and things and updates is not just so, like, we're not just trying to tell 10 teams what's happening,
Yeah.
We want you to go back and tell your friends and want you to connect with your community and tell them about the things that the city of Cupertino is doing. That's why we inform you. It's kind of like back and forth. So we're hoping that you're not just, you come here once a month, oh, the meeting's coming, sit down, hear us yap for like an hour, and then back to homework, like forget everything that happened here. We hope you're doing your due diligence amongst your peers, kind of like spread the word about things that are happening, spread the word about stuff. And like some of this stuff is stuff that you guys are giving feedback on too, right? So it's not just promote stuff for us. It's stuff that you also have a hand in some way. Teen Speaker Series, for example, was a teen commission kind of like advised thing from start to finish and hosted by some of your fellow commissioners here, right? So, teen commission is very beneficial to you guys, like as individuals, but we want it. We think it's only right that it also benefits other teens as well.
Yeah,
This-
you're all intermixed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're mixed,
Yeah.
Um,
And even to go back to like the sports center presentation, it's like, what does this sports center presentation, why am I getting this presentation? Well, they're giving you like, this is what we do in the city for everybody, right? But then I have most of the divisions come and present to the teen commission so that it's an opportunity for you to give some extra teen perspective. And like, hey, I didn't know that we have a discounted rate for students during the summer, you know. That's something for you to kind of get the word out about and something for you to learn and be like, hey, you know, did you know your competitor is doing so free? You know, that's good feedback for our manager to have that. And I've heard about that other program through this means. So it's all really good feedback, and that's why we bring those things to you. So it's just trying to get you guys to think about like the big picture and the city programs, really. So but I'm hearing a lot of videos on Instagram, using social media. That YAB uses the videos for their social media. I guess they use
They
effectively.
also repost city posts. You know, there's a the marketing process I go through, right, on their behalf for an event, and then they usually do kind of like additional, like through their own channels or their own accounts by reposting, and then they have their own like individual posts to kind of just bolster the message, right? There's only so many teams that are on like our email newsletter, that kind of stuff, right? And there's probably even less of them following the city of Cupertino, right? Then that's where you guys come in, right? Like you guys are directly friends and network of teams. So
But and it's good for us to give the feedback, hearing that again and again. We have our marketing person, and so it's good for Robert and I to be able to go back and be like, we are hearing this, you know, we are hearing this in regards to just generally reaching out. We are hearing that a certificate signed by the mayor would be really important for organizations. Is that something that we can look into? Because we got that information back from the commission. So what you're saying helps us to like go back and like investigate those things.
yeah, I mean, for sure, you guys told us more recognition, right? Like in so many ways. So we're definitely, we're not just like telling you, we're also hearing as well. That kind of goes back to our point, is that this is like supposed to be like a back and forth two-way kind of thing.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is that there's for like the outreach sort of part of our role, we're kind of trying to be like a bridge, the city's official happenings and the teen community. So we can discuss that. We probably should talk about how whatever we understand is happening, whatever we like know is going on, and like our peers should know how do we just communicate that sort of get that information out there. To maybe start it off a little bit, one thing I've personally noticed is that there are sometimes like outreach to teens tends to get bundled up as one, like instead of saying or thinking about like how many different kinds of aspects there are to the, it's gonna sound a little cliche, but the teen experience. It's easy to like sort of simplify that into like one kind of like, hey teens, how about we do this? And I think that is often the case with like how even like school clubs market themselves and things like that. So my point is like maybe like for example, the sports center, right? We could maybe like start thinking about the kind of outreach and the like target of our outreach is for each opportunity that shows up. Like for example, with the recreation things, we could maybe like go up to our PE teachers and tell them, hey, can you guys just tell your students about the fact that there is like a discounted local gym membership? And I'm sure the people at weight training would love to hear about that. And then there's like teen speaker series where we have a lot of entrepreneurship talks. Maybe we can go up to our FBLA chapter heads and be like, hey, can you tell your, or just literally tell them ourselves, you know? So maybe we can start thinking about, or like at the end of each presentation, just discuss how we plan to pointedly get that information. That's just one.
I really like the idea of like how at the end of like every meeting, we have like some sort of like action item that we could do and like how exactly we plan on like outreaching and stuff. I do have one question, like revisiting the social media aspect. Like if we do actually like go ahead with this idea, like I know, for example, Gab has like an official Instagram account. So if like we were to do such like stories or posts, like how exactly would we go about that? Would that just be like like us individually like doing it ourselves, or?
You see, yeah, posting on personal, like their personal stories and at least tag each other.
Oh, so it's like one person makes it and then like they tag all the other people.
We have something we can explore within the city with our marketing coordinator, and we've talked about kind of pursuing some kind of scripted videos. So we can look into that.
I mean, yeah, we'd love to, like, if that is valuable. It's worthwhile avenue. Even if we don't get it approved or get there, like it's important that you keep vocalizing messages too. Because
Yeah.
you know, you talk to us and we love to hear your feedback, and there's only so much we can actually just from the two of us kind of get going, but like over time. So
It gives us some weight behind our feedback, you know, within the staff. So, and and I've had some conversations about that. So just looking into doing some more scripted videos and, so, you know, you're supporting that, which is great.
Like scripted videos for like us or like for
So like, let's just say, I could give an example. Let's say we wanted to do a scripted video about YLO highlight program. That we might pull a couple of you and do a video that specifically highlights that program to on like Instagram. It says, hey, are you part of a club? Come on down, apply.
and
So
we're just saying it's probably like 5 levels above us of approvals to get that going.
but we've been
But-
in discussion, so you're helping us to have more information.
It's an evolving discussion.
Yeah.
We, for the most part, we as individuals agree with you, so like.
This is an idea that just popped up. You are very welcome to just say that it's like, or like push back. But I was at like a town hall, like an assembly member town hall meeting recently, and I got to meet a lot of people from a lot of different cities and organizations that were interested in partnering up with like, uh, you know, schools and even the teen commission, things like that. And I noticed that they all had visiting cards, which made it very easy to remember them. I'm wondering, do other commissions get not commissioner specific, but just
Mhm.
commission visiting cards for people to give out?
Like business cards?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They do not. I know that specifically. That was just discussed today. We don't have business cards. Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, maybe we can,
However, there were some name tags that were like larger name tags that came out last year. And from what I understand, they had some kind of contact information on the back.
yeah, but I think when wearing name tags, it's a little
Yeah,
inefficient to like flip them around or something. Here, can you scan this? You know?
yeah.
I thought we had like, oh, I have in my pocket, like these. I mean, they're not as big as a name tag, but these could still work if we wanted to use them.
Yeah, yeah. There, we definitely have good name tags for like identifying ourselves as part of the organization or as part of this organization. I'm just thinking like maybe for communications and like to remain in contact with anyone that we potentially meet while conducting this sort of outreach, that people that we're looking at have like a constant way to like look at this and go, oh, okay, these are people I can contact or email to ask questions about. Just like look up when their next meeting is. But if there's no precedent for commissions having business cards, we can just make it a habit to give our email out instead whenever we do that kind of stuff.
You can always give my email out too.
Yeah. speaking of email, I was wondering, like if we can just clarify what our .gov email can be used for, because I feel like sometimes we, especially I have experienced this, like I want to like talk to a particular organization, but I'm not super sure if my .gov email is supposed to be used for that outreach.
I would say it should be definitely only team commission business specifically, not like looking into other business that you might delve into. So only current team commission business, city business, our correspondent.
Yeah, so I guess anything related to the commission is fair game to reach out about using that email. It looks pretty good, a lot better than at Gmail.
Yeah, I mean, it should definitely, if you're reaching out from your team commission email, it should be about something that is under consideration by the team commission. And if you have any questions about that, definitely check with me first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I was wondering, what everyone's thoughts were on the thing about like having concrete or I guess time built in to discuss our outreach strategies for whatever presentation we're getting or whatever thing we know is happening. Is that something I'd love for everyone to share their thoughts on that?
I think that's a good idea because like if we're able to like know where we need to go and like what we would like to like say when we promote the opportunity, I think like having a group discussion would really help with that.
Okay. In that case, Sonia, tell me if this is like too specific and if we don't need this, but is it like good to include in the recommended actions for the presentations we have to just add like and discuss outreach strategies so it's built into the agenda for us to discuss that?
We could build it in kind of internally as far as like you as the chair could just say, okay, as part of the question portion, you could say, I'd like to know some of your thoughts of how we can get this information out to the team community.
Okay, and then to discuss that amongst the commissioners, just so we know what we should do after the meeting ends and stuff, could we just continue that in comments? Is that fine?
I would say that you would just have people say what their thoughts are on getting the word out and probably we should agendize it. If we're gonna talk about a specific thing, we should kind of agendize it. If you wanted to like, let's just say we wanted to talk about how are we gonna be more specific and come back to the YLO program, then we should agendize it for the next meeting.
So like agendize discussions for each presentation we get like in advance.
Possibly, yes, if we think it's gonna be one that we wanna like put some concrete information, but or you could just have a quick discussion as part of the agenda item on outreach.
Okay. How rigorously do we think we should like discuss creating an action item and then just so like I know we were talking about having like pointed instructions on what to do or like a very solid idea of what or who to talk to and what to talk to them about when we leave, just so we can bolster our outreach capabilities. I don't know why I'm talking in corporate speak right now, but like, so how much do we think we should like really build this in concretely? Like as Sonia mentioned, we could either do it like very agendized or we could just have like a quick discussion. Yeah. go ahead.
Kind of depends like from like what event it is, like how we do the outreach to.
I will also say the agendizing thing sounds like it has to go through a good deal more paperwork than if you were just like just add it as a standard question at the end of like every presentation we get. So I think it's just a more convenient way to do things.
Yeah, just one of you could just say, how can we get this out? What are some ideas to promote this program if it's something that you feel is something we should be promoting as a team commission? I was gonna say also, I can add it as an agenda item to go back to the YLO and specifically about like how to make some changes in those programs and give me a chance to do a little investigation of what things we might be able to do So I can come back to that, and so we can come back to that discussion.
Yeah, I think agendizing something for the wild specifically is great. I was just wondering, like thinking like the asking questions part, like building that into the questions thing, like how does the presenter think we should approach this is a great idea. I just want to make sure that the commission also has enough time to sort of like talk about what we think we should do based on whatever feedback they provide. So if we think that like a short, very short discussion, I guess in like the while we're giving out comments is enough to do that, then we don't have to like agendize anything further going forward. But whatever you guys think on that, I think would be good to say right now.
So not quite related to that specific question, but I was wondering about the thing about the beginning, the Brown Acts, us not really, you have to talk about city team commission business, outside or like within. So for example, if we were to like, more specifically about social media, like when utilizing social media, like, for example, when tagging each other, for instance, what's like the protocol? Or for instance, more concrete example, like that selfie we took at the beginning of the year. I don't know where it ended up since we're not really allowed to contact each other. So I was wondering if this sounds like it would go through a lot of paperwork, but if, for instance, we could like remove that brown act limitation, at least for team commission. For example, if team commissioners were able to just like talk to each other out, like at least some sort of group chat with bounce off each other, I feel like that could have more like a good effect of like just
You
being
cannot.
each other, you know?
Answer, I can stop you right now, yeah. Since you're an official commission, so you are an act, and so, but you are allowed to share, for matters of promotion, you can share posts and like posts, but you shouldn't get into any kind of online discussion about posts or events.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always,
Very long Brown Act
it's always in effect for you, yeah.
presentation at the beginning of the.
So I'm gonna step in again and bring you back on that we might want to move on just because we gave a 15-minute, we still have staff. And so we're gonna have parents showing up, so I'm gonna move the meeting along. Do you want to open it for public comment?
Yeah.
Just to see.
Is there any public?
We have no speakers in person and no.
Thank you. Are there any further comments from the commission? Yeah, I can just briefly add that it seems like we're okay with going forward, just building in time consciously for finding out like these action items without agendizing them. So that sounds okay.
And I'll commit to coming back to you with I find for the next meeting too.
Perfect. Okay. Moving on to staff and commission reports. I'll give it to Robert Kaufman for staff report.
Well, thank you all. So y'all have me what? December meeting? Okay, I was gonna say. Okay, so then, that's good because I had a past events recap that I normally do. In November, we had kind of our first team speakers. Done an iteration of this event before, but this was like a true like weekend to weekend series speakers for us, and it was hosted by 2 out of 3 of them were hosted by Sumeda, your fellow commissioner. Round of applause. She bookended it fantastically, and then in the middle we had Vice Chair Carly Liu. Did a great job. It was a very well attended series. We had on average participants show up for this, and I think that's a big win, especially kind of a first for us. So thank you for your support, those that hosted. Thank you guys for your feedback, which kind of folded this event. You guys gave us the topics for it. What, last year now? No. How long ago was that? Yeah, you guys gave us the topics for it, and we'll probably agendize maybe a future. We were thinking of agendizing maybe a future like brainstorm on topics and events for next year. And then in December, we had all of our holiday events. I'll blow through these because we're all getting hungry and tired. We had our tree lighting on December 5th, our community tree lighting. And then next morning, we had breakfast with Santa, 12/6, on the 6th, tree lighting, which was coordinated by Christina Lopez, our special events coordinator. Breakfast with Santa, coordinated by our youth and preschool coordinator. And the couple weekends after that, I had Cupertino Cafe with Youth Activity Board. I think a couple of you showed up, maybe. I don't know. I'll look right at Samita and she no reaction, so maybe not. And then also my Santa event, which was Santa Visits, which is a series of Santa and his elf getting into a decorated city vehicle and visiting families throughout Cupertino. And then Mr. Jason Bazali over in the outdoor division had his signing Santa on the 13th as well, which is we have an ASL speaking Santa. It's a very touching. Anyways, upcoming events. This month we have the Cupertino Spelling Bee next Saturday, the 24th. That's for youth, but a few years back we got it in our minds to have, kind of their older peers running the event. So Youth Activity Board puts a lot of planning the spelling bee each year. Considered mostly hosted by the Youth Activity Board, but we also we have this as a big opportunity for team commissioners to kind of our speakers, our hosts, this is a big speaking opportunity for you guys. So your chair, Anushi Misra, will be this year's spelling master. Let's give a round of applause for her. Did that quite the tall task. It's a lot of speaking. Okay. Bring some water. No, I'll bring some water. Also have Vinay Prakash as one of our judges this year. Yeah, so that's spelling bee coming up next Saturday. I think, yeah, no, that's it for the spelling bee. Sorry, I should know whatever. February, we're gonna have Sweetheart Social on the 7th. That's another youth event. But that one is also like a lot of our holiday event and Monster Mash, very volunteer supported. So Rev will be coming out for that. And that one's a fun Valentine based event for kids and their parents as well. You have anything to add to Sweetheart Social?
No, we need lots of people to help us with that event, though.
Yeah, we do. And then teen movie night at the end of February on 20th. That one, I'm not gonna lie, that one snuck up on me a little bit. So I don't have a movie for you at the moment, okay? But I'll give you details once Yab and I finalize that next week. Okay, and then last but not least, and this will pertain to you guys. Kind of going out a little further to March and April, just because these events also have speaker opportunities, and I know we talked about all the fall ones back in September. Just kind of closing out the year. Let's wrap up spring speaker opportunity. Present that to you now. On March 7th, that is our annual Big Money 5K. Commissioner Sue over there is smart. Were you? Okay, that's right. Okay. So we have our Big Money 5K each year. We have a couple of commissioners come out as MCs. I believe Commissioner Sue might have debuted her bunny talents that. Yeah. Okay. Is that what we're laughing? Yeah. Okay. Commissioner Sue was the bunny last year. So yeah, Big Bunny. That's March 7th. It's a very huge event. Very volunteer.
Who's interested in emceeing Big Bunny? Just so I have an idea. How many people are
Actually, yeah, maybe I should just also ask for a show of hands for each of you. Let's see.
I'd be down to be the bunny again.
Oh, okay, let me put that in parentheses. Bunny. Um,
I just want to have an idea of how many people are interested, so we'll have to make some decisions too on that.
yeah, Chelsea, do you put your hands up? No. And then Jonathan, no? Okay, okay, full. Okay, and then near the end of March, we pushed this event back a couple a weekend. Because it's so close to Big Bunny and, you know, it's kind of in the middle of Big Bunny and Earth Day. But on the 21st is when we're gonna have our third teen resource fair. Kind of a joint effort with FBHSD's district council. The activity board also helps plan it. I think I'm gonna have involved this year as well. But this is kind of, this event for me at least is, there's also other city staff. And but for me, it's a big way to showcase all the team programs. For me, really, honestly, it's just like funny. Oh, all my buddies right here. Doing their thing, talking to their peers, kind of showcasing and being representatives of your group. In terms of team commission like advertising themselves, this is like the one for me. Like in terms of you guys talking about yourself, like team commission, your experience on team commission. So you'd be you'd be at a booth, like at a table, showcasing, talking about being a team commissioner, you know, how it's beneficial to you, how it's beneficial to the community, like what do you do as a team commissioner? Let me get a show of hands on doing that. Can you repeat the date? The 21st.
March 21st.
March 21st. Different season at this point. It's Berkeley.
I'm not going to Berkeley.
Yeah, it's just okay. And then last but not least, because this is really kind of like the last confirmed for sure speaker opportunity. We have Earth Day on the 5th of April. Is that correct?
Day before Easter. You can sketch.
Which is Sunday. You know, a lot of our events are Saturday, but I think Earth Day is timed around like Easter. Earth Day, I know Harley, you did Earth Day last year. Industry as well. I keep switching between commissioner last name and
4th of April.
What?
4th of April.
4th of April.
Yeah.
My apologies. 4th of April. So it is a Saturday. Earth Day, for Earth Day, we're not looking for MCs, but well, I guess we are looking for MCs, right? Is that?
Usually, yeah.
Honestly, I was so wrapped up in volunteers, I don't even know what we're saying that day.
Who did it last year? Anybody here? Okay.
Can you just briefly describe what Earth Day was?
Yeah. Earth Day was it was basically being up on a stage in one corner of the field. The field was entirely covered with booths and stuff, so it was not like we were the centers of everything, unlike most events that we MC at, so it was slightly different. Our main job, I think, if I remember correctly, was introducing the artists that were coming up, introducing the people that were getting recognitions, and it was less so like engaging the crowd, it was more like just facilitating like a program.
Yeah, section. Okay, cool. That one on stage at Library Field. I haven't given location so far, but whatever. Day and Earth Day, kind of our last opportunity here. Okay, so we'll kind of take all this into account and then send out confirmations in the coming month. You know, trying to weigh out participated and stuff and who could use, hasn't had the opportunity yet. But also just try to see like what's the right fit. So yeah. Consideration. So that's pretty much it for me tonight. We should probably go. I'll hand it back. I'll hand it back to you.
Done. Yay. Done.
Thank you. For future agenda setting, I know we were talking about continuing the YLO discussion. Is there anything else that we would like to agenda set, or if you want to clarify what that YLO agenda item is gonna be? Okay, so maybe it can give me an update on what we can do and then further discussion on what we are going to do and what's feasible for expanding the recognition and continuing just the discussion in general. Okay, adjournment. At 7:52 PM, I will adjourn the meeting.
Yes. Little louder than that.